Hello, I am Shiny. Welcome to Amy's tofu tutorial. Okay, so this is part one. This is ingredients, okay? So what do you need to make tofu? Well, you need tofu. How do the influencers do it where they put their hand behind the makeup? Anyway, this is Kroger brand tofu. I like the super firm with the purple stripe. Yeah, anyway, so that, and then your package of jasmine rice. This is my favorite because when you break it up, it gets a little sticky in the bowl. So the basmati rice is fine, but this is my favorite here. Influencer hand. Okay, and then for later, you're gonna need peanut oil. So this is for when you cook your tofu. You gotta put some oil in there so it doesn't just stick to the pan. I like to use peanut oil. Why? Because peanut oil is allegedly heart healthy. I think the jury has come in on peanut oil, and it's okay. It's okay to have. So it's heart healthy, and this gets the tofu the crispiest to me. Canola oil is fine. Coconut oil is fine if you like cholesterol. I wouldn't use olive oil because olive oil has a low smoke point, and we're going to be going up to like between 400 and 420 when we cook this. Anyway, peanut oil. I have not tried avocado oil, so I don't know. I don't know about avocado oil. The jury is out on avocado oil. Okay, so now I'm going to run you through all these bottles of shit. Because so for the sauce, I'm also going to walk you through sauce making. So for stir fry sauce, you need 4 things. You need salt, acid, sweet, and spice, sass. Okay, so for my salty element, I am using fish sauce. Soy sauce also works. I had this in the fridge and I needed to use it up. So what's the difference between soy sauce and fish sauce? Hang on, I gotta close the text. Okay, what's the difference between soy sauce and fish sauce? Influencer hand. Fish sauce is hella salty. So like, you're gonna wanna use a lot less fish sauce than you would soy sauce. I use like 4 or 5 drops of this. I also like this because it goes a little further. So I was flying through bottles of soy sauce, man. Anyway, okay, fish sauce or soy sauce, that's your salty thing. What is your spicy thing? So you can use sweet chili sauce. I got the gochujang because this lasts a little bit longer because it's hella spicy, so you don't have to use as much of it. If you like sriracha, that works too. Sriracha is a little too vinegary for me, so I like the gochujang. Acid. I use rice vinegar. I assume you could also use like lime juice, ponzu. Anything that tastes kind of vinegary is gonna work. And be mindful because the gochujang or the sriracha is a little bit vinegary too, so you gotta, don't blast it out. Now, oh wait, sweet thing. What's my sweet thing? Honey, because a little goes a long way. You could use pretty much any sweet thing, really. So I also like to put in sesame oil. You don't need to use a lot of this. A little goes a long way with this too. But it puts a little earthy stank on everything. I like it. And then I like to just throw in some extra flavor. So like sometimes it's a little dollop of teriyaki glaze. Sometimes it's a little dollop of stir fry sauce. What flavor is stir fry sauce? I don't know, brown. Anyway, and what we're gonna do, so I've got 6 containers here. Influencer hand. So I've got 6 containers and I'm gonna make 6 meals worth of sauce. So I'm just gonna move left to right. Actually, I'm gonna put this tofu and rice back in the fridge because I'm not actually using this right now. No, today I'm actually having a burrito. Today is Friday, so I'm not eating healthy things. Anyway, okay, so I'm just gonna move left to right. I need to use up this teriyaki glaze, so let's use that. And so how much is a dollop, you ask? Well, I would say this is about a teaspoon of this in each little hoo-ha thing. Oops. So unless I say something otherwise, I would say about a teaspoon of everything. But you know, you can stick a fork in here and just kind of taste as you go along. It is your own little world. It's your own happy little sauce. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so I did teriyaki, so I don't need to do the stir fry sauce. Now, sesame oil, we're just gonna go just a probably like a quarter teaspoon, half teaspoon. A little goes a long way. So just a little boop, 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 boop. I don't know if that's helpful. I'm guessing that this measurement would be about a quarter teaspoon or a half teaspoon. Okay, so then rice vinegar, probably about a half teaspoon of this, I would say. Just okay. Fish sauce. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. And this stuff just flies everywhere. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And it comes out in these little shoots. So you gotta be careful. Okay, so there's that. And then we're gonna do honey. I like a decent bit of honey. This is probably a full teaspoon that I'm doing in here. Boo! 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 Okay. And now, so the gochujang is a paste, so we gotta get a spoon for that. I did wash my hands before I started this, so just FYI. Influencer hand. Okay, anyway. All right, so this, I'm doing about that much on a spoon. This is gonna be, if you're not into spice, this is not like native Thai. This is probably gonna give you about 3 dots out of 5 of spice. So like a nice mid-range for white people amount of spice. Ooh, I need some more gochujang sauce or paste, whatever this is. Okay, there's that. Boop. And I try to make my sauce right before I take a shower, because if you stick your finger in that paste and then you got a little under your nails and then you touch your eye, it is a mistake you will only make once. Okay, so then I've just got just the faucet on just a wee little stream, and I'm just gonna go like a quarter teaspoon of water in each of these. What's the point? Just helps it stretch out when you toss it into your food. We'll get there. Before I stop, I'm going to talk about a tofu press. You don't have to have one of these, especially if you buy this like super duper extra firm tofu, influencer hand. But this happens in the mornings, so I'm not going to film that part. But what happens is, so you got your brick like that, and you're going to cut it so that you have 2 thinner bricks. So I'm gonna like cut it like down like that in half. And then one half, is going to go into the tofu press. You stick it in there, you put this in there, and then it's got these little rubber band guys on it. And it just kind of gently presses down. And I'll put it in the press in the morning, and then by dinner, a good bit of the water has been pressed out of the tofu. And now you're wondering, well, Amy, you cut that in half. What do you do with the other half? Stick it in a glass bowl, put enough water in the bowl to cover the whole half brick. So, because you just want to keep it moist. You don't want to leave this in there more than like 3 days. If it starts to get a skin on the top, it's not in play anymore. I've never actually seen that happen except for when I was sick and I left one in my fridge for like a week and a half. Anyway, that'll keep the other half of your tofu from drying out. So, I think that's everything until we do prep time, which is not happening today because I'm going to eat some trash, but I'll film prep time later. Okay, bye. Oops, I forgot something. So, you're probably wondering where all the vegetables are. So, also on the ingredient list, vegetables. What vegetables, you ask? Well, whatever you want, whatever's on sale, whatever you feel like. I usually do, like, I'll get that bag of sugar snap peas and I'll put like a handful of those in. You'll see later. And my favorite is a red pepper. Sometimes it's orange. I like the red because it's colorful, but you can do inch-long pieces of asparagus. You can do quarters of slices of zucchini. You could probably do carrots. They might be a little crunchy. I think that's it. You know, stir-fry vegetable. You could probably do broccoli. Broccoli in the air fryer makes your house smell like farts. Don't say I didn't warn you. Hello. Okay, so I'm sweaty and gross because I just worked out. But now, I've got all the toys. Now we are going to do prep. We're going to prep our tofu. What do we need? Okay. Now, my air fryer is the flat kind. So I'm going to spray some cooking spray on my baking sheet. If you do not have the flat kind of air fryer, you can do this in a convection oven. I don't use the air fry setting on my air fryer. I just use the air roast setting, which they say is just like using a convection oven. So, what am I getting out of the fridge? This is my tofu. It's been in the press since this morning. Influencer hand, you know the deal. Here's my rice again. Here's my little container of sauce. And I need some vegetables, right? So I've got the last bit of a container of sugar snap peas. And red pepper. Okay, so I'm gonna wash this guy. And I've got a giant knife. So in my big ass bowl, I am going to put snap peas. And then I'm going to cut the stem out of this pepper. And then I'm going to come over the sink and I'm going to slap my pepper. That is not a euphemism. I'm slapping it to get all the loose seeds out, right? Okay, so then I'm going to cut the pepper into like eighths, long ways, and then just like bite-sized pieces, like inch by inch pieces. But as I'm cutting, I'm taking my knife and cutting the white stuff, the spongy white stuff out of the middle, because we don't want the spongy white stuff. Yeah? Boop. sweaty and disgusting, but I did put on a shirt. So you're welcome. It's a public service. Also, I have to run out to the mailbox, and so I needed a shirt anyway. All right, now I'm going to take my tofu out of the tofu press, and this gets rinsed off, put over here to dry. I wash it like once a week, but like this doesn't really get that funky, so you can rinse, and then like I wash it in the dishwasher once a week. But this tofu, it doesn't really get funky. It's not like raw meat, you know? It doesn't really get funky enough to have to go in the dishwasher every single time. And I don't have like 4 tofu presses, so how am I cutting this up? Well, so here's my brick. I'm gonna cut it in half long ways, and then each half I'm gonna cut into 3 long pieces. You can do what you feel once you're more familiar. Okay, so now I've got 6 long pieces, and then I'm gonna go across that widthwise, like every ½ inch or so. You want pieces that are like ½ inch by ½ inch by inch, roughly. I like this size because they get nice and crispy. And you can just go every ½ inch until you do the whole half brick that you had in the press. So, boop, boop, boop. We've got our bowl, our big ass bowl, and our veggies, and our tofu. And now, hey, remember before when I said the thing about the peanut oil? Now's the time. Okay, so I'm just gonna go 2 teaspoons-ish of peanut oil. And then I'm gonna take one of these little scraper spatula hoo-haws, and I'm just mixing this around. I'm just trying to get everybody coated with peanut oil, right? Just trying to get a good coating on there. All right, so I've got my veggies with my peanut oil, and I'm gonna dump my veggies onto my baking sheet. You wanna get them like in a single layer as best you can. Don't put this bowl in the dishwasher, you're gonna need it later. So set your bowl aside somewhere where your cat won't get to it. Leave your sauce out on the counter, it's fine. And then I'm gonna put this in the air fryer. I'm not gonna turn it on yet. And then we're gonna get our bowl. And we're gonna tear open our rice packet. And I'm gonna go about half of this thing of rice. And I'm just gonna break this up with my fingies to where these are forming little clumps. Just break it up, break it up, break it up. My fridge has a tendency to freeze this rice, so, but anyway, hang on. I'll show that to you in a second. I gotta rinse my fingies off. Okay, so the rice, you know, chunky yet not chunky. And that's gonna go in the microwave with something over it. So why am I not starting the cooking of any of this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to take a shower. And, oh, P.S. You gotta treat rice like dairy. If you don't eat this rice in 2 or 3 days, you gotta throw it out. Don't trust rice. Anyway, keep it in the fridge. Okay, so, let me clean up my trash here. So here's what's gonna happen. Do with this information what you will. So I'm gonna take a shower. When I get out of the shower, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna start my air fryer. I'm gonna put it on air roast, 15 minutes at about 415-ish. You'll probably have to adjust just because like time cooking. Anyway, just do that. And then when it gets to like 12, 13 minutes, start watching it. What you're looking for is for the tofu to be a little bit brown and for the vegetables to not be burned. So anyway, when I get that out of the shower, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna start the air fryer. And then I'm gonna go back into the bathroom and moisturize the shit out of myself for roughly 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back in here and we'll pick this back up. Okay? Okay. See you in 20 minutes or so. Okay, bye. And we're back. Okay, so we've had our shower. We're moisturized. I did my rice in the microwave for 60 seconds. I dumped my tofu and veg off of the baking sheet back into big ass bowl. And now I'm gonna take my sauce that we made in the first segment and we're just gonna dump it in there. Boop, boop, boop. And the lid has to be hand washed, so that will happen tomorrow morning. Little container goes in the dishwasher. Okay, so, and then we're just gonna stir this around again. The goal here is to get, just get a coating on all of your veg. Just get a coating of sauce on everybody. And then we're gonna dump it on top of our rice. And you will want, you gotta scrape all this extra sauce off the edges of the bowl because then it's gonna get in your rice and it's gonna be all tasty. It's gonna be tasty pants. Okay, and then that goes into the dishwasher and we get ourselves a fork. And I need to rinse my hands, I got no sticky sauce in my hands. And I'm gonna let this baking sheet soak overnight so it's easy to clean in the morning. But here we are, we have food. See? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. This is, I don't know, probably 400-ish calories. Lots of fiber, lots of protein, lots of rice. Anyway, okay, that's it. That's easy breezy, not standing in the kitchen forever tofu. Yeah. Bon appetit, y'all.